out there drawing big ratings for these popular TV shows, when in real life I was sitting alone in an empty apartment, eating takeout food with a plastic fork, crying my eyes out, wiping snot from my face, and questioning why God was testing me like this. Why was I feeling so inadequate, not trusting my gut, chasing false trophies, allowing myself to be betrayed by men who said they loved me, not recognizing the difference between real love and something less? Why was I so afraid to express my true thoughts and feelings, not only with men, but in so many aspects of my life? Maybe it's because sometimes I didn't even know or understand what my own true thoughts and feelings were. My life really was a complete mess, and God bless all of it, because it's in the messes where we learn the most, as long as we slow down enough to realize what God is trying to show us. For most of my life, the idea of slowing down had been a problem for me, but by early 2020, it was full on out of control. I felt like my hot mess express was going 200 miles per hour when the pandemic stood up and pulled on the emergency brake. And then, just like everybody else, I found myself facing the world at a standstill. All of a sudden, I had time on my hands. For the first time since I can't even remember, I stopped moving from one thing to the next and the next and the next. And whether I wanted to or not, whether I was ready for it or not, whether I liked it or not, the quarantine and a couple of mistakes I made during that time forced me to take a good long look in the mirror. That's a good thing. I mean, it should be, right? How often do we get a chance to stop and really think about what we're doing, who we are, and who we want to be? With 100% of my new career opportunities in Hollywood on hold for a moment, I finally got a chance to ask myself why I was going so fast in the first place and why that felt so important. The thing is, when you live so much life so quickly, you change. That's not a bad thing, but I realized that whenever someone asked me to explain my experience over the past few years, or even over the past several months, I actually had a visceral reaction. I would take a big gulp, heave an even bigger sigh, and immediately feel my throat close up to prevent the words from coming out. It's like every thought would leave my mind and I wanted to flee the conversation. I was paralyzed by the wave of emotions that rushed over my body in a matter of seconds. Why is that? Maybe it is because I've lived so much life so quickly. It feels like I've done 15 years worth of living since 2018. I've gone from being a private person living in small-town Alabama to being known all over the world and flying all over the world. I had never even left the country before. I've gone from single to engaged to single again. I've dated more men than some women do in a lifetime. I slept with more men in 1 week than I'd slept with in my entire life. And I've gone from losing touch with my faith to coming back around to find Jesus still loves me. Through all of my mistakes, my suffering, my losses, my wins, and everything in between. Taking the time to try and find answers for myself has been one of those hurts so good things. You know what I'm talking about? The first thing that comes to mind when I think of a hurt so good experience. Okay, well, maybe the second. Thank you, John Mellencamp. It's a deep tissue massage. Like super painful and torturous in the moment. You think about turning over and punching the masseuse when she puts her entire body weight on the knot you worked really hard to get from all the stress you've figuratively and now literally put on your shoulders. But after a few days, the soreness goes away, the bolder knot of stress dissipates, for a little while at least, and you feel better. Well, that's what I want to do with this book. To give you a hurt-so-good experience that allows your own soreness and pain to go away for a while, and maybe make you feel a little bit better about yourself while we do it. Since long before the quarantine started, I've been diving into self-help books by all sorts of authors, trying to find solace and answers to all my worries, or at least the feeling that someone out there gets what I'm going through. Here's what usually happens. I start reading the book in hopes of gaining some insight. I find a place where the author describes my feelings and experiences way better than I ever could. And then I'm like, God, why can't I express myself so eloquently? The struggle, experience,